Okay, the first thing we'd like to go over in our instructional video on this super giant dandy dice system is basically the issues that you need to do with your pneumatic pump when you get it in. And of course, every shop's got a different type of air fitting, so the first thing you need to do is locate an appropriate air fitting for the air system in your facility. And you'll remove the red plug on the back of the air pump, which is on there to keep dust and dirt out of the system. And you want to thread it in and just make sure it's secure. You know, you don't have to take and put a breaker bar on this or anything to tighten it. You just don't want it to leak. The other thing that you need to do with your AP100 when you get it is it comes with a red plug in the fill side of the pump, and that is a seal plug to keep hydraulic fluid from leaking out of it in shipment. But when you go into use, you have to install the black vented plug that comes with your AP100. Real simple, just bring it out. Then you want to take a screwdriver and remove the red plug, and then insert the black vented plug. And we also will recommend that you keep the red plug handy just in case there's any time that you need to take and return the pump. It should be shipped with the red plug in it to prevent any hydraulic fluid from leaking out. Okay, with this particular model set, what we're going to actually be doing is an opening that's larger than what the punch will punch. And we do this by using various locators in order to take and facilitate the two-step operation with the SGDD balanced drive system punch. So what you see here is our drill guide template, which is included with this system, and it contains basically 8 holes that are used to mount the device that you are installing, and per the documentation. And that also includes 8 holes that will be needed for the draw bolts on the punching system. And basically what we want to do is line up our template basically on how we wish the opening to be in the panel. And of course, you may be doing this vertical. We're doing it here laying down flat just for sake of this demonstration. So you want to take 1/4 and select that as your initial point. And then you want to take your first hole and just pick your first hole, and using the drill guide, just drill through that hole. Now to locate that, we'll take and insert a bolt. And now we're going to take and make sure that our template is square to our desired opening. And we'll go to the other opposite corner, and we're going to drill that to locate the drill guide template. And once we have that opening in, for that hole in, we'll put another bolt in it to maintain location. And at this point, your guide is actually located to take and drill all the balance of the openings in the panel. Now for demonstration purposes, we have a panel up here in our vise, and you're going to use your step drill to open up the draw holes to 7/8 inch for the die pulling bolts. And once you've completed your opening to your panel, this is what it should look like prior to you taking and setting up to actually take and punch the opening, which will be our next step. Okay, We're going to go over the components of the balanced drive system, and of course, as you've seen earlier there, we have the pneumatic hydraulic pump, and that has an output. We have the balancing valve pending that allows us to keep our cylinders in sync. Down here we have 2 draw cylinders, and the die set is drawn by a pair of cylinders, and of course as you'll see here shortly, we have the actual die set. So the first thing we want to do is connect our output line from our AP100 into our balancing valve. And these are just simply high pressure quick connect fittings. And we use the same fitting on all our assemblies. For instance, if you had an SDD series die set, you'd just take the output of the pump and connect it to a single CYL 200D, and you can drive any of the smaller SDD series die sets in that manner. Then the 2 lines coming out of our balancing valve are connected to each of the 2 CYL 200D drive cylinders. And also note we have connected the shop air line to the AP100. Any regular shop air source from 90 to 120 psi will work fine for this pump. And also located with the CYL 200Ds are all of the pull bolts needed for assembly. With that, our basic setup is complete, and we can set up our die set in our panel. One of the things that's unique with this system is our guide holes in our die base are used to locate us, because we're going to be punching twice. We want to make sure everything stays in alignment. So the first thing we need to do is simply take the bolts for the location of the die base and assemble that. And note we have some handy little wing nuts for them. You may put all 4 in if you wish. I think what we're going to do here on this go is just go kitty corner with them. Due to our drill guide and everything is located very accurately, so we don't believe that you're going to need to take and use all 4 bolts in it, but there are 4 locating holes in the die set just for this purpose. And then once we're inserted here, it's handy to have a partner to take and get the screws started there and pull bolts. And these don't have to be torqued or anything, they just got to be up where they bottom and they're tight. And we do the same thing on the other side. Cross-threaded, or am I good?
I believe I caught
good.
it. I think I caught it good. Yeah, it's going good.
So at this point, we're fully assembled and we're ready to take and begin our punching operation. On the balancing valve, there is a setting, and the little knob right here has got an advance and a drive position. And the way the balanced drive system operates, we want to start out in the advanced system, and this is kind of our pre-drive. And what we're going to do is operate our hydraulic power till our cylinders will, form up and take a little bit of load, but prior to them actually taking and punching, beginning the punch operation. So, go ahead, Frank. You may note the hoses will flex a little bit.
It's getting tight.
Getting tight. At that point, we want to always make sure the cylinders are pulling in parallel. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this over to our drive position in a selector switch, and now we're going to complete the punch. And it's there. And we can take and actually we can leave your bolts on there. We're going to reduce the pressure, go back to the advanced position on the drive, and we can take the bolts out. And our one cylinder is free. And our other cylinder is free. Now we'll take our locating bolts out. And our die set should be free to come out. If we lay that down, we pull the center out, you notice that we have our slug now in our die base, and we also have kind of a special device we use. So rolling head bar I call it, or die bar, and it's basically the easiest way to get your slugs out of your base. And you simply want to take and get one hole started, give it a little pull, and you actually just roll it right out. It's very easy to do. And if it's not coming that way, we're going to get on the other corner, and there's your slug.
You can also clamp it down, hold it down to the table. That will help you also.
Especially needed if you're on heavier gauge material, and this die set will punch up to 10 gauge mild steel. So your heavier slugs will be a little bit more difficult to remove. Normally we never nibble with a knockout die. We want to take and cut on all four corners of it. But the balanced drive system allows us to do that. So as you can see, we've got 1/2 of our opening done, and the die set will now take and actually overlap the center, so when we operate it punches the rest of the opening. So we initially want to take and locate the die just like we did before with its locating bolts, because that is really the secret to the way the system works. Once again, take and talk nice to your buddy, and he can hold the piston on the other side of the die set for you. Want to go to the south side first?
Sure. Right. Okay, I got it started.
So assembly works the same. The operation of the balanced drive cylinder works the same. Everything is basically just duplicated. You will note that in this particular model of die set, we did rotate the base 180 degrees to do the other side. Yeah, I can give you a hand there.
This means I'll have to buy you a beer later.
You may. And I want to check that our balancing valve set to advance, same thing. We're going to operate our hydraulic pump till we get pressure. I'll let my operator.
A little more.
Sometimes you'll see a little flex in the hoses. Then we go over to the drive position. And I believe we're driven. We turn our balancing valve to advance, reduce the pressure or release the pressure from the AP1 drive cylinders. We're going to take our bolts out. Once again, we'll take our wing nuts off our locating bolts. And the die set will come out. And we have the same thing. We have a slug in there. And Frank, spin the opening just a little bit for the camera. And you not only have your opening in, you have a near perfect opening. Drill guide holes, drill holes in for mounting your device, and it's device ready. You're all set to go. And once again, your slug. Sometimes, Frank, give it a try and just see if it'll shake out. Sometimes it'll shake out like that. Anyhow, if you have any other questions, you can always send us a support ticket off the help icon on poundpunches.com or give us a call on our toll-free number 888-959-7395. If you experience any difficulties in the operation of our system, we're glad to help you. Anytime there is an issue with anything, it's our duty to make your panel opening needs as easy as possible. Thanks, and have a great day.